everybody, and this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you another viewer cast. We have another submission from AricTaylor. So let's go ahead and get in on this. First, I want to give a congratulations to Aric. When I plopped into this game, I noticed that he was now in Gold League, which is awesome. So we're going to turn that down. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on 2 times. I've watched this a couple times and kind of wanted to give my feedback on how things are going. So, AricTaylor chooses to open up with a Forge Fast Expand. Pretty standard. One thing I'd like to comment, though, is I'm not sure I necessarily agree with this pylon placement. Generally speaking, when you see a Forge Fast Expand build, you see the pylon kind of back here, and then the Forge kind of in the same place the pylon is. That just basically, with the pylon less exposed when you actually complete your wall off, you have a less, less potential for a cannon getting deactivated, or in your case, I believe you plant down 2. So yeah. Anyways, another thing that I noticed in this replay is you go for this really early gas. Now, generally speaking, you don't necessarily need gas until your cybernetics core is done. Or at least a little bit before then, just so you can have enough to get Warp Gate or that and a Stalker, so on and so forth. So getting this earlier gas basically delays this Nexus plant. So basically, I would highly recommend, getting rid of this assimilator, and then also you could probably just go ahead and only do 1 cannon. I mean, that's, 225 minerals extra that you could have right now and be dedicating toward a, your Nexus. So we'll go ahead and continue on. So far, some minor issues. A really late scout, which I'm not necessarily... I mean, obviously scouting's a good thing. You want to know what your opponent's doing. But, I mean, in general, this is really late. Because at this point, he's probably going to have a queen out, or at least relatively soon, and obviously his spawning pool is done. You do this fancy little walk around, and it appears that as you can see it's building a queen. And when this queen pops out, your probe is going to die, or the zerglings, whichever comes first. Anyways, so back at home, our Nexus got planted down, I believe at around the 4:30-ish mark time frame. Yeah, your probe's kind of sitting there, and then bam. So a little bit late after choosing to go for a gateway before, before getting the Nexus. After coming in and seeing that Ling's just popped out, you've got 2 cannons already up. So I guess, why necessarily go ahead and put down this gateway? Because you're only delaying this Nexus. And then I'd also like to comment, you decided at, I think it was about 5:30, you chose to put down a gateway as opposed to a cybernetics core. Basically, by putting down the gateway, you are limiting your tech, how quick you tech up in your tech tree. Had you gone for a cybernetics core here, you could have gotten a robotics facility, a Stargate, or a Twilight Council that much faster. And you've already started your +1 research, so if you choose to continue on getting, higher upgrades really quick, if you have the cybernetics core down, you can put down your Twilight Council and immediately start building +2 once +1's done. So we'll go ahead and continue on. Got your second gas, and then you're putting 3 in, and then getting your cybernetics core. And then you're also doing a transfer. Pretty decent chiming on the transfer. A little too many probes as you send a couple back. So nothing too big so far. I still kind of would have liked to have seen this wall off completed, because at this point, if he comes in... I'm going to slow this down just so my frame rate seems to be dropping. If he comes in with a swarm of lings, basically you have nothing to stop it. He could easily just run right by, take out all these probes, run into the main, take out all these probes, and you're immediately dead because you don't have units and you don't have a way to stop him from doing that. So I would highly recommend doing a full wall off. That's just kind of my take. Because basically, ideally what you want is you want your forge here, your gateway somewhere around here-ish, and then your cybernetics core kind of in this location, and then you can put a pylon here and then do a single zealot wall off. So you can get in and out of your base, but if he chooses to run in with lings, they just run into the zealot and don't do anything, and the zealot sits there and takes out them one by one until he realizes, oh crap, I'm not doing anything. So yeah, there are several builds out there. I know Diapollo did a video not too terribly long ago where he kind of showed how that wall off is done. You might want to go check that out. I'll probably put that in the description below. So we'll go ahead and continue on. Just chrono boosting out your warp gate research, and then starting to get a round of units. Let's see. As far as production goes, you're only building one probe right now, which is kind of curious. You've got your 4 gateways. It looks like what happened is you didn't add your second nexus to your hotkey. So basically, what I always do is whenever I plant down my nexus, I'll click on it, I'll hit Shift, and then whatever you use for your hotkey, and it will add it to the hotkey. So that way, when you click on the hotkey, you're actually selecting both of them. So now I'm going to pause it as he runs in with a million lings. So at this point, you have 750 minerals. You have 590 gas. And the only thing that you have that is between you and losing this game are these 3 cannons, these 2 stalkers, and this single zealot. You have nothing being made. Nothing being made. And your warp gate research is 11 seconds from being complete. What do you do? Well, first of all, you do not want this to run up into your main. Because if it does, and he targets down your mineral line, you're dead. Simple as that. This is kind of going back to also why you want to have that full wall off, because you avoid situations like this. So let's see how this goes. They come in, banglings come around, and then you choose to attack with your probes. Probes versus banelings is a bad idea. Just in general, bad idea. Because you'll watch and they just explode. Now I need to see that again. I want to see how many you actually lost there, because that was a lot. So right now you have 16 probes. So we're gonna hit play. And then we're going to watch these guys come in. I'm going to speed up a little, and then slow back down, and then speed up a little, and then slow back down. And then, so, yeah, you lost all 16 of those probes. Now, you have one of 2 options at this point. You've got, 10 seconds for your warp gate to warp in units. And, most people in this situation would just simply GG. You've lost too much. If he has droned behind this like he should have, this is game over right here. But we'll go ahead and see it out since it's a fairly long video. Whatever you want to call it. Replay. So he runs in with his lings, and actually, fortunately enough for you, he focuses down the pylons and doesn't touch your mineral line whatsoever, so you just warp in some zealots and have a field day. He did let your ground weapons finish, and then you choose to pull a couple probes and take out the rest of his lings. So, obviously this is a poor choice on his case, but had he gone straight for your mineral line, you would be dead, straight up. And you're lucky because he didn't focus down your nexus. So he pretty much gave you a full window of opportunity to do whatever. And then you decide to be a little schmuck and ask him if he's in Bronze League, I believe. Yep. Now, come on. You gotta be more well-mannered than that. People play this game, and this really irks me. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. It really irks me when people kind of do this, because when it all boils down to it, you're here to have fun. You're here not to get harassed or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. You might, I you know, it will come back and bite you when somebody does it to you, and you'll be like, well, crap. Then you just feel like awful and yeah. Anyways, so back to the game. So you're trying to rebuild. You get up a couple more gateways, and then you're back to getting up your probes. Everything's hinky dory. We're gonna speed it up a little. I'm gonna drop some frames. No big deal. So yeah, pretty stock and standard. Drop some more frames because we're gonna speed it up a little more to get somewhere. Now he comes in with 100 more lings, and since you've got 1,000,000 zealots, it's not that big of a deal, and you pretty much come out of that unscathed. You chose to go for 2 extra gases, but choose not to put anybody in it, which is probably well, I don't know. You're floating a lot of gas. So if you're gonna choose to put these gases down, I'd highly recommend in your case teching up to Templar, because obviously Templar tend to be a pretty good gas sink, and Archons are pretty good against links since he appears to only be going links. So we'll continue on. You choose to get a whole bunch of stalkers. I'm not sure if I agree with this, but if I remember right, it pans out in your favor just because your opponent decides, hey, I want to go Muta ling, which in this case is probably not so good for him. Your charge is finished, which is good. We're going to go ahead and speed it up, and you see a whole bunch of mutas. So you're like, yeah, I got lots of units. So I don't know why he chooses to just poke in the front. Probably should have come in the back, taken out some of your probes. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think you handled yourself pretty well when you were in a bad situation, and then I'm not sure I necessarily agree with choosing to move out. So are you choosing to? Where are those headed? I wish I knew. They don't have a little arrow thing. So okay. So they're choosing check the third. Good. I think I talked about that in one of my previous videos. 15 minutes is probably a good, decent third timing, and if you don't see one, oh, look, there's the drone for the third. Awesome. Cool. So getting lots more stalkers, because you probably are thinking, well, he's probably getting lots of mutas, and then you choose to move up. Now, okay, this is a bad move. You see, what, 18, 20, 24, 25, 26 banelings being made right in front of you, and you choose to attack with all of your zealots. Now, zealots versus banelings, well, I'll let the video kind of show you what happens with zealots versus banelings, and then obviously you don't have enough stalkers to do anything. So yeah, all of your zealots melt. So now you're back to stalkers only. But then again, he's still on 2 base. He's only got banelings and mutas, and you're working on your +3, which is awesome. You still have a whole bunch of gas, so you choose to go for Stargate. I guess my question to you would be, why did you not choose to place these down earlier? Because, I mean, you saw he was going Muta, and at this point, going air yourself, obviously he's going to have air dominance, but your +3 stalkers are, more than enough to take care of that. So this is probably a little bit of a judgment call. I mean, you can choose to do this. This is fine. I kind of would have preferred to have seen Templar Archives going down, since obviously all these upgrades go toward Archons rather than your air units. So banelings come in, do a little bit of damage, but you pretty much killed. They all detonated and didn't do anything. You're still on 2 bases. You're not making any more probes because you're kind of oversaturated, which is okay. Now I think if I remember right, you choose to start thinking about taking a third, and then you're just like, I want to win. So I mean, quite honestly, this plan is a good plan. I think it's perfectly fine. You're far enough in line with wherever he's at, that you don't have to really worry about it. You go take out his overlord, great. And then you choose to cancel. Now, choosing to cancel this, I don't necessarily agree with this. I mean, you're floating 1,000 minerals. It really doesn't hurt to plant this down, and that basically is just kind of a contingency plan that if you choose to go out and for some reason this army dies, you have something to fall back on. You know, your minerals in your main are pretty much dead, so you can immediately go back to mining here, so you're still on 2 base, and things just hanky-dory. But by canceling that, you kind of lose that contingency. So probably would have preferred to have kept that. So you choose to move out. You send your phoenixes. You kill off a third. Well, yeah, that's probably a third since you denied it back there. And then you get 100 lings versus stalkers, and then pretty much, yeah, your superior upgrade since he's on 0-0. And everything's wonderful in the world. Now, come on. None of this. None of this nub issues. See, I find it that when you play mannerly, people leave games a lot faster. Because they're not like, wow, I just want to piss this guy off. They're just like, okay, fine, I won. You know, I lost, it's okay. And at this point, he is probably just walked away from his keyboard, everything's dandy in his life, and he's moving on. And you sit here and you do this and whatever, and we're going to speed it up. I'm going to drop a whole bunch of frames because it's awesome. And then basically it's a matter of finding his last base and the game being over, and then that third that you could have taken, you choose to take down here. Anyways, so I hope you like the comments. It's definitely some things to think about. I highly recommend checking out that build that Apollo did. I think it was like a week or 2 ago. I'll put a link in the description, so please check that out. Also, if any of the viewers are interested in watching me play on my stream, I'm gonna go ahead and put my I can't speak today. My stream info in the description, as well as my Twitter. Feel free to follow me there. You'll get kind of notifications of when I put out videos, as well as when I'm streaming. And yeah, I think that's it. If you guys would like me to cast one of your games, feel free to send an email to replays.sc2.chaos@gmail.com. I know it's the longest email you'll ever have to send an email to, but it's all I could think of at the time, and, whatevs. So, anyways, if you want to send your replays to that, I will gladly cast them, and I'll see y'all next time.